Now that we've started to build our characters and our teams, we want to ask ourselves, what are we building them for and how can they best be used in the game? Prioritizing different game modes will help us to answer that question. So let's start here with Alliance Raids. Raids are the most important thing to do in this game, hands down. This is where you're going to get things like your character's gear and how you're going to power up your character's abilities. Be mindful at this point in time, the game is giving you the Vigilante team as your primary raid team. They're very strong. They're very intuitive. They work well. You want to focus on them as much as reasonably possible. Let's start out by talking about the Annihilation raid. It's very easy. It's a straight line from bottom to top. There's one lane for each member of your alliance. You can click on each individual raid node, and as we can see here, they have a difficulty selector. So we have normal difficulty all the way up to 9, so that is 10 different levels of difficulty. Over here on the right hand side, you can see what the rewards are. We have some gold and a little bit of, in this case, what is the chapter store currency. There's requirements here. It says requires 5 characters. It's starting you out at level 20. The recommendation I should say is level 20, gear tier 4, 2 yellow stars. So that's when the raid was launched. That's kind of what you needed. It's similar to what you see here, but newer characters are stronger. So your newer characters can punch through this with a lot less requirements. And as you start to move up, we'll notice some things change. You start getting some different rewards. So here, this is what we're saying. This is where you're going to get your gear from. You have blue gear orbs, purple gear orbs, and orange gear orbs. So when you open these orbs, they're just going to give you random pieces of gear that fall into that category. It's just something you want to do, something you want to build up to help you make sure you have the proper gear to put on your character. When we get to difficulty 2, there is another requirement. As you see here, it says requires ISO 8 tier 1 level 1. So that's going to be the green ISO 8. At this point, I haven't unlocked that yet, but it's just something to note that raids will start to require that as well as you move your way up. The farther you go up, there'll be higher requirements for ISO 8. And again, notice as well, it says requires 5 skill. So initially there were no requirements. It was just 5 characters, but now we're getting up to where we need characters of a specific type. In this case, they would be skill-based characters. So it could be any skill characters that we've unlocked in the game. But ultimately, it's going to move you up to a spot where there is a certain team that is called for. And again, on this node, that is the Vigilantes. And every node in a raid is like that. You're going to start out with no requirements. Requirements will get more general. In this case, it's global. And then as we go all the way down, there is a named team. In this case, the Uncanny Avengers. And so different teams are going to be required for the different nodes. Don't let that scare you. You're not going to be able to build all those teams at once. So just go with what you know. They're giving you a free team, a free foundational team, in this case, the Vigilantes. So you'll build that first. And then my suggestion would just be go with whatever new team is coming out at the time, especially if it's a raid team. All teams won't be raid teams, but it's going to take you time to develop a roster strong enough to deal with everything anyway. So don't rush. Take your time. Go with what the game gives you. The other raid we're going to look at here, it says the Greek 3. So the Greek raids, there's different levels of that. Initially, this is the type of raid you're going to be looking at when you start the game. We see the structure here is a little bit more complex. It requires some communication, talking, maybe you even assign raid lanes, as some people call these, raid lanes, to some people in your alliance, or maybe you don't. Maybe just good communication is the key. But one thing that's going to change when you start to look at the Greek raids is, once again, you start having these requirements. So this says global and cosmic. We have some that just say cosmic, city, global. Okay, so you're going to need characters that fall into those different areas. Again, don't worry about just building random characters. Build the ones that they're giving you. Build the ones that they just drop off for you in the game. And this is a way that you're able to get the things that you need. So we have here our ability materials. This is the raid that you're going to be using to get those ability materials. Depending on the percentage of the raid that you complete, you're going to get more of those things. So again, the ability materials is why you're doing this raid. So the Greek raid, the reason why they call it Greek is they used to be alpha, beta, gamma. We used to rotate between the 3. Now they just have condensed it into 1. But again, the reason why it is important is because this is where you're going to get those ability materials, and you need these to increase the power of your character's special moves. You also have a Spotlight Raid Orb. The Spotlight Raid Orb is meant to kind of help you to get the newest character, not the newest characters, the newest characters that are farm, or whatever team that they're allowing you to farm or free to play. That team is kind of featured in different areas of the game, Spotlight Raid Orb, being one of them. So as we're looking at this, this person could change depending on what time you're seeing this. Living Mummy is featured. He's on the Brimstone team. Whenever you open one of these orbs, you are guaranteed to get 5 character shards of the featured character, in this case, the Living Mummy. On each side, there are other characters that belong to one of the more recent teams. So we have Azazel here, we have Sebastian Shaw, and we have Rachel Summers. They all belong to the Hellfire Club. We have the Hobgoblin, Superior Spider-Man, and Scorpion, who are on the Superior 6 team. And then on the other side of the orb, you have a chance to get one of these characters. Again, these are made up of characters from other teams, maybe the teams that came out before the ones we just mentioned, and help you to fill in the free-to-play characters for those named teams. It's just a good way to stack up character shards for your roster, and if you do get to the point where you be building those teams, you have some of them available. It is not something you should prioritize outside the exception of getting that main character. If that team is one you're working on, getting that main character powered up. The Annihilation Raids are going to give you a little bit of tier 4 ability materials, which are the highest, the strongest your individual special moves can get. The reason why it's called the Spotlight Raid Orb is because at some time you will be moving to the Spotlight Raid. The Spotlight Raid map isn't too difficult to understand. Again, it just takes a little bit of coordination. Early on, there are no requirements except for the 5 characters. And then very quickly, it switches to specific teams that you have to have. In this case, Alpha Flight and Champions, and later on, the Uncanny Avengers. I would encourage you not to rush towards this. Again, you have to have the named teams in order to participate. As you're going through as a newer player, Alpha Flight is a team that the game will give you for free at some point. They're not very strong, but they will put that team in your hand at some point for free. So again, when it comes to that portion of the raid, this team will slowly come into your account. As you see, we got Wolverine unlocked there, and we don't want to rush it. I don't want you to put any resources into building these characters. The game will start giving you them for free, and depending on when you're playing, right now, at the time this video is being recorded, the champions are being introduced into the game free to play. So the champions are a brand new team. They will not be giving you this for free, but just by playing the game sometime between now, next 2 to 6 months, you'll be getting more and more opportunities to farm these characters, and you can build them up that way. Again, I wouldn't rush in a sense to go into the Spotlight Raid because, again, you need this team, the Mighty Avengers, in order to complete it. And we don't want you to rush and build older characters, right? Building older characters is not what you want to do in this game. You want to kind of stay at the front, stay with the meta, because the newer characters are the strongest. Another game mode you unlock early is Blitz. Again, Blitz is a game mode that you do not necessarily want to build for. You're just going to take the characters that you already have and use them to finish these milestones. If we click on the rewards here, we can see the milestones for that. You're going to get some shop credits. You're going to get some gold. These Jarvis orbs will just give you random characters. You have heals for your raids. That is something that you would like to get every week if you can, but you don't build characters just for this game mode. You're just going to do the best you can and take what you're able to get. Right now, today is a quick rumble. Other days there are orbs, and other days still there are characters. So all you're really going to do is just pick a team. You can go in, try to beat the other team, and you get points. The stronger your team is, the more points you get. As you progress your way here through level 60, you will get the ability to sim through your Blitz battles. That's going to speed things up for you quite a bit because you literally will use every character you have unlocked in the game, and with over 300 characters, that can definitely take some time. Again, this is not a game mode you should build for. You just want to go ahead and participate as you're able, or do a couple here and there just to kind of see if you can work your way down the milestones. It is not a make or break situation. See the milestone, the gauge there went up, and when I get to the next level, I'll get those 3 things that you see there. Milestone 12, it'll go up to milestone 13 after that. On the left hand side there, we see it says tier 4. So there is a point modifier. So the higher I go in my tier, the more points I can get per match. So we see at the top there that 16,015. That's the amount of points I get at the tier 4. Whatever points I would get, they're multiplied by 3.5 in this case. So then all you do is pick your next team. If you don't want to keep scrolling looking for what team to use, you can go to not on cooldown. Click that, and it'll remove the characters that you already used. I could still use those characters that I used in the past. It would just cost me these Blitz charges right here. So again, this is not a game mode. This is not a game mode that you should build for. It's just something that's made to kind of give us an easy way to work our way through those milestones, get a couple extra things, again, like those raid health packs, a couple of shop currency. So again, don't stress it. You're just going to do a couple here and there. It will help you with your daily objectives. It'll help you with your battle pass points. Each win will increase your tier, which will increase the multiplier, which will increase the points and just help you to fill up the milestone gauge faster. Campaigns are also very important. These are things that you're going to need to do every day. We just kind of work our way through. On the left here, we have, for example, the We Are the Champions and the Daring Straits. These are campaigns, event campaigns based on characters that are coming out at the time. So depending on when you're playing the game, the characters here, the campaigns here may indeed be different. The loose threads that we see there in the middle, that's just one of these special campaigns that they give new players. Don't sweat it too much. You just try to do what you can. Make sure that if you have the energy up here available, do not refresh this energy. Generally speaking, do not refresh this energy. It's just something that you can do to get more experience points and get more shop credits. As you increase your player level, more and more of the campaign will be unlocked. Again, this isn't something that you want to overly build for. It used to be very important to make sure you got through and get through all the campaigns, because this is how you would unlock your ability to get certain characters and get certain gear. So for example, we see here Kate Bishop. There was a time when obviously she was a meta character, and there was a time when you would try to get more Kate Bishop shards. So in order to do that, you wanted to get this node open so that you could go after her and get those shards. The other thing would be this gear piece that's sitting here, advanced secret intel. So maybe you have characters, right? I got a couple of vigilante characters because this is a skill piece of gear that want that advanced secret intel piece. So in the past, it used to be very, very important, again, to unlock these nodes, because that's how you would farm these things. But now with the new store, the way the store is set up, so here every character that's available free to play is available. So you don't need to necessarily farm those nodes every day. There's a random chance that you would get them from the node anyway, but they are guaranteed to be here in the store for X amount of shop credits. That's again another reason why we don't want to spend shop credits unnecessarily. We want to focus in on the things that we need. Same thing with the gear. Every gear piece in the game is in the store. The store refreshes 3 times a day. Chances are we're available at least twice to be able to take advantage of that. And with those orbs that we talked about earlier that you get from the raids, you just have a much greater chance of getting the gear and the character stars that you need. So it's not as important to make sure that you unlock all the campaign. It is something that you want to do. And again, as we increase our player level, these next ones will unlock. And as you get to the end game, these last couple areas is where you farm some of the end game resources in the form of gold and training materials. So that becomes important when you get there. But for the moment, we're just going to work our way through one step at a time. Don't build characters solely for the purpose of getting through the campaign. Just look at ones that you were already able to beat. Spend your campaign energy, as you see I've already done. So spend your campaign energy just this way. Ones that you already got 3 stars on, just go ahead and auto those nodes, sim those nodes. Don't buy anything in the hundreds there. And you're just going to do that way to increase your character level or your account level one day at a time. Arena is also another important game mode, especially in the beginning. The only arena team you're going to have is probably your just whatever the 5 strongest characters you have are. Next is probably going to be the raid team that you're building, in this case, the vigilantes. And then at some point, you will move into whatever the arena team for the time is. The current arena team in the game is the Fantastic Four MCU. So once again, I'm not going to necessarily go out of my way to build these characters. They're definitely a priority. They are definitely something we should take a look at. But again, a new arena team comes out every year. So this team came out last year. We are into 2026. So at some point this year, a new team is going to come out. So it kind of depends on where. We don't necessarily know where that is, but it kind of depends on where you are in your development process. We only get enough resources, generally speaking, to build 5 characters. The last 3 there, Franklin Richards, Mr. Fantastic, and Invisible Woman, all are the 3 newer Fantastic Four MCU members. So if we were going to build any, it would be those three. The Thing and the Human Torch, it's probably not time to build those characters at all. But as you saw in the meantime, I'm not focusing my efforts on building those characters. Again, resources are scarce, and we just want to make sure we're trying to keep up with the newest characters that are coming out. The reason why Arena is so important is because this is where you get your power cores. When you get to about this area right here, you get 150 power cores a day. And so if we're refreshing our general campaign energy, it costs about 150 power cores a day to do that. So it helps us in that case to break even at this point. And then anything else as we climb higher, we start to increase our stash of power cores. Just participate, do the best that you can every day. You see my rank there is 1,917. We'll try to keep track of that as we continue to make videos. But right, I'm starting to run into characters that are just a lot physically stronger than I am. There's nothing you can do about that. So you just bide your time until you're able to simply overpower these individuals, or until you get the proper arena team, in this case, the Fantastic Four MCU. Now, I want to show you something in the Milestones tab here. Again, as a newer player, they're kind of walking you through the game. They're kind of giving you what you need. Let me take a look and show you what I mean. So we see here we have this second strike milestone, and one that we already finished over here was the first strike milestone. So this is the one that appears first, and you get to max it out simply by playing the game. Again, if you're just using your campaign energy, you're playing in raids, and you're just going to power, and an arena, you're just going to slowly work your way through this milestone. Using your power cores helps as well. So as you work your way down, it starts happening. You start getting these characters here. You see there's a little 4 next to it. This is a token. So it gave us the Shocker as a villain character at level 4 when we're starting the game. We didn't have to put any extra investment into that. And as we work our way down, we start getting other characters like these Spider-Verse characters, right? So these characters belong to the Spider Society. They're an older raid team, and they're just giving you to them, again, for free. In this case, it will give me Peter B. Parker at level 5. I get Spider-Man Noir. I get Bavita here at level 6. And finally, Penny Parker also at level 6. So when you complete this, you now have 5 Spider Society characters. This is a team you can use. They're an older team. They're not going to be super effective. I'm not going to power them up anymore, but you have a team that's ready made. They work together. They have synergy, and they're at the appropriate level for what you need to use them for. And in this case here, we're back in campaigns, and what you're going to use them for is that Loose Threads campaign. It says Spider Society Showcase. You got like 2 months to finish it. There's a test drive that lets you test the characters out, and then you'll get into the story. So hopefully you didn't power any characters up. You might have been saying, well, my team just isn't strong enough to do this. Again, the only reason why you're going to do it is just to get a little extra material, get a little bit extra experience points, and they give you the characters. They give you the characters for free so that you're able to do this. You could just probably go ahead and put it on auto. If you want, you can try to do it manually, so you could just kind of get the hang of how the characters work. This team, again, is not a very strong team right now in the game. They're definitely older. They are a skill raid team. And as we said, the current skill raid team in the game is the Vigilantes. So the Vigilantes replace this team. They're a stronger version, so to speak, raid-wise. But this part is still here because Spider characters are always something people are interested in. People like Spider-Man. And so they continue to have this here. Gives you another opportunity to gain some more free experience points, as well as some gear and things like that. But as you see, it's not very challenging. We have it on auto, and you're just slowly going to work your way through that campaign as time allows. So even if you don't finish it, that has campaign energy that you should be using every day as well. Again, it's going to give you experience points, and it helps feed into our second strike milestone. So as we look at that, again, the scoring there, similar things: campaign energy, play your raids, play arena, and spend power cores. It's also alluding to something we're going to talk about later. We got ISO 8 campaign energy, level 55. Our characters are not that strong yet, but we'll talk about that later on when that becomes a thing in the next video. So let's take a look at the milestones here. The game, again, is just giving you what you need to power up your characters for free. So we're going to have more of these purple T3 ability materials to make sure that we're able to power our characters up to that level. And then they start also, again, they're giving these characters for free. So we have Starbrand. We had, as we just saw, Captain Peggy Carter. We have Captain America, Cosmic Ghost Rider, and the Black Knight. Those characters are on the Rebirth team. The Rebirth team is one of the teams that you're going to use in order to unlock Old Man Logan. So again, they're giving you characters that you can use. I would not power them up higher than this. Just go with what they give you. And then we have this next batch of characters. We have Deadpool here, Deathpool. I'm still working my way through, so there's some I still need to get. So we have Dockin and Taskmaster we have Dockin, Taskmaster, as well as Pandapool. These characters are all on the Mercs for Money team. That is the team Old Man Logan goes on. So we're looking at the Mercs for Money team here. So again, Deadpool and Deathpool are giving those characters for free. If you want to invest some power into a character, it could be Deadpool. He is actually on another team called the Retcon team. This is a newer team, so his stats have been increased for that purpose. You could get some extra use out of him. But focusing back on the Mercs for Money team, this is the team that Old Man Logan goes on. Old Man Logan is a legendary character. He's a good character. He's decent. He's older a little bit, right? But he is a good character. He's a representation of Wolverine. People like Wolverine. So this is Old Man Wolverine. He's a good character. Again, he's decent. And he has an event that pops up regularly where you can use the characters that we said before to unlock him. Again, I would not power up that Rebirth team. Excuse me, I said the Rebirth team, but we're talking about the Out of Time team. These were those characters, other ones that the game gave us for free, right? I got them right here. They all come at level 45, and you're just going to use them to get points when the Old Man Logan event comes around. I would not power these characters up anymore. There's a more efficient way to simply use the strongest characters you have. At some point, your characters will simply be strong enough that you could get enough points, even without finishing the event, to unlock Old Man Logan. In the meantime, just use what they give you here. Don't put any extra power into these characters. Just take what they give you. They're just trying to teach you how to play the game. So the alliance is growing. So again, we have that invite available. It's motivation, no cap. In the description, we always have the link to my Discord as well as recruitment Discord. So you're welcome. If you're a new player and you want a nice place to grow, come on in, right? We got spots available. The guild is open to the public. It used to just be all me, but now we got some buddies as well. If you have any questions about the game, please leave them below. Again, you can hit me up on Discord. Let's chat. Let's talk about how to get things going, right? How to get your account up and running. Marvel Strike Force is a great game. I like Marvel. I like Marvel Comics. I like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And if you're a fan of those things, again, this game is fun and we can help you to improve. If you have any questions, once again, leave them below. And if you haven't seen the first part of this video series, we're going to put it for you right here, as long as another video that you perhaps may not have seen.